Can a normal person survive the One Piece universe? By a normal person, I mean a character who doesn't fall into the category of special tribes and races. These tribes could include giants, Lunarians, and Buccaneers, just to name a few. That is what we are going to be looking at in a special segment I call Can You Survive This? And to do this, we'll be looking at it from 3 different perspectives. On the first perspective, you're a regular civilian. By this I mean a regular character we see throughout the story. Characters such as Whoopslap, the mayor of Fusha village, and so on and so forth. In the second perspective, you're a pirate. And in the third perspective, you choose to live the life of a marine. On the surface level, you might say, of course I can. It's One Piece after all. But that's because we see the world through the perspective of the main character, Monkey D. Luffy. We all know the One Piece world is divided into the East Blue, the West Blue, the North Blue, the South Blue, the Grand Line, and the New World. In our case, let's say you're born in the East Blue, the so-called Wicked Sea. You as a character have several options to choose to live your life. You can either choose to be a regular civilian and choose to live the normal mundane life. This by far is the safest option compared to the rest. But this also has its downsides. The first downside being, your village can be attacked by mountain bandits, who generally reside in small villages. Like we saw Higuma, and let's not forget, our lovely Dadan, the mother of Luffy, Sabo, and Ace, is also a mountain bandit. The second challenge being, you can be attacked by gangsters. Although not common, gangsters are present in the One Piece universe. For starters, we have gangsters like Bartolomeo. As it was revealed in the manga, Bartolomeo, before becoming a pirate, he was a gangster. And the other well-known gangster is none other than Capone Beji. And the third threat comes from pirates. This can vary depending on where you live. But outside the Grand Line, the most likely scenario, you will be besieged by small-time pirates like Buggy or Arlong. Although you are under the protection of the world government, you cannot always rely on the Marines. We saw how Nezumi, who was in charge of Kokoyashi village, was corrupt. And fourth on the list, we have the world government itself. More specifically, the Tenryubito. Although they do not move about as much, we have seen cases where they move from time to time. We all remember the case when Sabo was about to set sail and his tiny boat was blown up by a Tenryubito. Also not to forget, these same Tenryubitos have a habit of picking slaves wherever they go. Let's hope for your sake, they do not set their eyes upon you. Also, something as small as talking back to them can result in them trying to kill you, as was the case with Zoro. Also not to forget, they are also Tenryubito, the Gorosei and Imusama. By sheer bad luck, they deem that your island needs to be cleansed. It will be eradicated and traces of its existence wiped from the maps, as was the case with the Lulusia Kingdom. And finally on the list we have the Marines. Yes, technically they are the good guys, but that's not always the case. Picture this. Let's say a wanted criminal stumbles upon your island and then a buster call is issued. What do you think the chances of your survival are? I know what some of you might be thinking. What if I live in a Yonko territory? Yes, I know. Yonko territories are somewhat safe from pirates and Marines. But picture this. You're a citizen in Wano Kingdom, and Kaido happens to be your Yonko. What happens during his drunken frenzies? And let's say you're in the territory of Charlotte Linlin, aka Big Mom. What happens to you during her hunger pangs? And let's not forget, she harvests souls from her citizens. Your best bet will be Yonkos such as Luffy, Whitebeard or Shanks. But this is also short-lived, like we saw in the case when Whitebeard died and his territories were up for grabs by other Yonkos. Well, that's it from me from this first segment. Can you survive One Piece as a civilian? In our next episode, we'll be looking at your odds of survival as a marine. Well, that's it from me. See you on our next adventure.